So today we're going to be making several pages that are all related from pronouns, and then pronouns actually are the way we identify point of view in literature. So we're just going to do a quick page with the 6 main different types of pronouns. When you color this page, each of these can be a different color. It doesn't really matter, you choose, but take a minute, 90 seconds to color the 6 different ones and then cut it out. So if you want, you can pause the video right there and color, but I'm going to go ahead and move to gluing this in. I'm going to leave room at the top so I can write my title, that is pronouns, and then I'll take just a thin strip of glue, and the only place I want to glue on here is this tab at the top. I'm not going to glue on the back of those because those are flaps. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that and stick it towards the top. And then if you haven't already, cut along these dotted lines so each of these open up independently. And then I'll do the same thing with this bottom one, just one strip of glue across the top, and then kind of line it up there like so. And then we're going to be taking notes underneath each one, the different types. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through it right now. If for some reason you can't keep up with taking the notes, that's totally fine. We will provide copies of the notes that you can use to finish. But the very first one is personal pronouns. I am actually going to start down here, but personal pronouns are the most common pronouns. They're the most typical. So we're going to write underneath this flap, most common, and then their main job is to replace nouns. And then we're simply going to list the main personal pronouns. Now, some personal pronouns fit in the subjective category, and again, don't worry if you aren't totally keeping up. I'm just walking you through each one, but subjective pronouns are pronouns that replace the subject of a sentence. So this would be like I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. And then objective pronouns typically are found towards the end of a sentence because they are the object of the action. So she kicked it. Kicked is the action. It gets the action. So it is actually one of those that can be subjective or objective. So then I'm just going to write objective. And then the common objective are going to be me. You is another one that can be either one, him, her, it, us, and them. So these are actually probably 75% of all pronouns. The most common, they're personal pronouns. Possessive pronouns, they are pronouns that show ownership. And these are going to be, you'll notice that they show this is my house, this is their car. These are pronouns that show who owns or possesses something. So my, our, your, his, hers, its, and then you can do their. And then, of course, there's the ours with an S, yours with an S, theirs, again with an S, mine is also another possessive. So again, that's just a list of possessive pronouns. They show ownership. Indefinite pronouns, the word itself, indefinite. So if something is definite, it is very sure and very clear. Indefinite, the prefix in means not. So in this case, not definite. These are pronouns that you can't really tell exactly who or what they are talking about. So these are pronouns. They don't refer to any specific person or item or amount, anything like that. So they're just indefinite. They're not clear. So an example would be some, no one, anyone, everyone, someone. They're just indefinite because you don't know. Some people, everyone loves popcorn. We're not referring to anyone in particular. It's just a general statement. So those are indefinite pronouns. Then we go up here to demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns actually point out a specific person, place, thing, or idea. So these point out a specific person, thing, or idea. And examples would be this, that, these, and those. So if you said this INB, that glue bottle, these scissors, you're actually specifically, and the word demonstrative, the root there is to demonstrate. So you're demonstrating which one, it's this one. So demonstrative pronouns. Then reflexive pronouns. We've talked a little bit about reflexive pronouns in our language review. So basically what a reflexive pronoun does is it's a pronoun in a sentence that reflects back to the antecedent. And remember, the antecedent is the noun that we are replacing. So this is a pronoun that reflects back to the antecedent. And remember, antecedent is that noun. So these are all the self pronouns, singular and plural. So we have myself, yourself, herself, themselves, and then you could add the plurals to it, itself, really any of the selves pronouns. We're not going to list them all here, but those are all reflexive pronouns. And then finally, the last one, interrogative. If you're familiar with the root word here, it's interrogate. And when you interrogate someone, you ask them a lot of questions. So these are pronouns that ask questions. They typically stand for something that is not yet known. Like, who is coming to the party? Who is an interrogative pronoun. We don't know yet who's coming to the party, and it asks a question. So these are pronouns that ask a question. And these are those kind of like the questions you typically see when you're trying to write an article, or a journalist would ask, like who, whose, which, what. So who, whom, whose shoes are these, which house is it at, what time is it at. They are pronouns that ask a question. So we did this quick lesson on pronouns because our next pages that are on point of view, pronouns are the #1 way you determine point of view in a piece of literature. The main pronouns we're going to be dealing with in literature are going to be personal pronouns. There might be a few possessive and reflexive, but the majority of pronouns we will use to determine point of view will be these 3. So we're going to jump over and show you how to make the point of view pages, but you're going to see these pronouns come into play. So you have